Hey everybody, and welcome back to Romantasy Roundtable, a tale of Rick and Roses. And I am joined today with my roses,
Amanda.
And Kim.
And remember, if you are liking what you listen to, please like and subscribe. It really helps us out. But we are here with our final chapters of From Blood and Ash. We have finished the book, and a couple of us, one of us, has some strong feelings about it, and the others are pretty mid. But overall, before we go over let's go over the chapters real quick. So last we left our friends, Poppy and Co. Oh no, where's my soup bell? Sorry, we need props. Every good podcast needs a prop, and I need to see where this went, and everything is fine. All right, so they were in the Blood Forest, right? And they set up camp, and Hawk decides to keep Poppy warm at night. That's all we'll say.
No, that happened in the last.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That was the last thing we talked about. And now they've woken up, right? And is this where they fought the rats, or the rats left already?
That is going to happen. No, the rats are going to happen. So the first chapter was where she's waking up after a nice sound sleep in the morning and is overhearing a conversation between Hawk and Kieran, where Kieran was basically like, Hawk, get your shit together.
Oh, right,
Don't forget what our mission is and what you're supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
And so obviously implying that he knows what's going on and that Hawk may or may not be doing the right thing by hooking up with our friend Poppy.
I'm sorry, I just was rereading my notes because I wrote these like a week and a half ago and laughing at the things that I said. Nothing important happens in this chapter.
Yeah, a bunch of nothing important ends up happening, right? So then they get to a little small town where there's no ascended.
Can I say something about this small town?
Would love for you to say something about the small town.
If you're going to name a town, why name it New Haven? That's famously already a town.
And a shithole.
You could.
Wow, sorry for any of our New Haven listeners.
It's fine. They have pizza there.
Yuck, fail.
They think their pizza is the best pizza, but it's not. I just feel like we could have been more creative.
Everyone who's anyone knows that Swampsville by the University of Florida has the best pizza.
I didn't even say that. I love Satchel's. This episode is brought to you by Satchel's Pizza in Gainesville, Florida. Satchel's Pizza and Lightning Salvage, their junk museum. Long live Satchel's.
Satchels, it makes me want to eat them.
No, I wouldn't even. Satchel's has the best vibes of a pizza restaurant. Their pizza's good, but I don't think that they're the best pizza in the world.
So we've arrived at Connecticut, and what happens next?
What happens next? Poppy notices how warmly the townspeople treat Hawk and Kieran. Okay, so there's no ascended in this town. The children are like really excited to see Hawk and Kieran. Everyone's like really excited to see them. And Poppy's like, what the hell is going on? Who are these people?
And that's all that happens there.
Chapter 33 is where, Poppy and Hawk have sex.
Soup time.
Kim, you have some thoughts about this. Oh, can I start us off with a thought? I wrote, I miss when Reese made Feyre write that he was handsome.
That's great.
Guys, this soup is gross.
It's not good soup.
It's not.
Yeah, I didn't like this soup.
It's like clam chowder that's like been turned. It's
Ugh.
not.
Oh, God. This is why we have no listeners.
We have like 6.
Thank you for the handful of you. You're wonderful. But we can't get more because...
What? Because I talk about clam chowder?
To be fair, it was an accurate metaphor.
It's true.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gross. It's her first time, and it's unfortunately very explicit in the writing that it's her first time. And that's just really unnecessary. So it didn't feel saucy and fun to read. It just sort of felt like a really bad memory that nobody wants to relive.
Right. We waited all this time to get this soup, you know?
Yeah, I didn't feel good about it. I was like, this is, I don't know, icky. What also happens in this chapter is that Poppy reveals her gift to Hawk. I don't remember anybody's names, and I'm looking at my notes and it says Reese and Feyre. And so I was like, Reese reveals his gift to Feyre, and I was like, nope, none of that's right. But they also point out that no one else can do the gift except for the last maiden, but no one knows that the maiden has the gift. So now I'm once again wondering what else makes a maiden if nobody knows that the maiden has the gift. There are two themes of my thoughts on these chapters. Number one, this writing is lazy. And number two, I have a lot of unanswered questions still at the end of this book.
Well, Jennifer Armentrout, since I know that you listen to us directly, I don't think your writing is lazy, and I think it's the best.
The best?
The best.
You heard me, Jen. I love you.
Okay.
Wow.
Icky. Okay, we move on to chapter.
Quite the poppy declaration of love there.
We move
I've
on to
read
chapter.
half your book, and I am in love.
Half of your one book of the 70 books you've written. How many is it?
Yeah, 70.
Literally 70, but she's prolific. Okay, Phillips, who is some other guard. I don't know who any of these guards are.
There's too many of them.
I'm not interested in learning their names. So some guard comes to Poppy and is like, something isn't right in New Haven. And I'm like, yes, it's the pizza. No, something isn't right in New Haven. There's no Ascended here. Kieran and Hawk, what's their deal? What are they doing? He tries to help her escape. And then Kieran reveals his true nature.
He's a wolven.
He's a wolven.
So Rick is not here to dispute this right now, but we were right in that the wolven is actually a different kind of being.
But Rick was also right that it was a mask that they were wearing earlier.
Yeah, that's fair.
But the wolven is a thing.
But it was referencing the fact that a wolven was a thing, yeah.
And I'm once again saying there's too many creatures in this universe.
Agreed.
But guess what? There's going to be more. So Kieran's
and why can't we just call them what they are? Why can't we just be werewolves?
They're just werewolves.
Why do we have to come up with a new name?
I hate it. Okay, so he's Wolven. Hawk and his men overpower the guards, confirming Poppy's worst fears that she has been surrounded by enemies all along. Thank you, ChatGPT. Rick has returned. Rick, is everything okay?
Oh yeah, no, everything's fine. I had to update my child's emergency contact number for my mother. That's it.
And now it's me. I'm the emergency contact.
It's you. It's always
It's me.
You're the problem. It's you.
You get to go pick her up from school now.
I did write at some point in these notes, I don't know what is happening, but I wrote something has changed within me. And then 5 seconds later, I wrote, it's me, but I don't know what that was about. And then I said, we really don't need to spell out the metaphors. Thanks. Because I felt like there was a lot of that happening. In chapter, oh no, this is still me talking about, we find out when they have sex that Poppy was bitten, but not cursed.
Right. Which I think we knew previously.
I don't remember knowing.
Well, I mean, we knew she was like tore up because she had all the scars.
Speaking of being bitten and not cursed, and we have given a lot of respect to Buffy the Vampire Slayer, not Savior. Big rip to Michelle Trachtenberg. She shall be forever missed. I was really sad about that.
Yeah, a queen to the fantasy world.
So what are we up to?
Wow. Okay. So we know Kieran's a wolven. Poppy's worst fears.
Kieran's a wolven? I missed that part?
That's what you missed.
Oh my god, when did he become a wolven? Thank God there's only wolven and not other bad names for other creatures.
We've covered this.
What is a vampire, guys?
We're not there yet.
Okay. I don't know.
And in chapter 35, Hawk's true identity is revealed.
Wait, what do you mean his true identity? He's always been Hawk.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. And I would like to read to you from a thing that I Googled.
She's looking at her phone right now. If you're wondering, she's pulling it up. She's got it.
I Googled Lauren. And the description said, Lauren was a lady in wait who died in the attack on Castle Tierman. And I was like, I still don't know who that is. And I don't remember there being an attack on Castle Tiernan. So I read the next sentence and it says, Tawny overheard Lauren and Defina say that the mist was gathering beyond the Blood Forest. After Castile, masquerading as Hawk Flynn, was assigned as Poppy's personal guard, Lauren and Defina joined Poppy and Tawny at the atrium. And that was the spoiler that I've had this whole time.
Yeah, that was unnecessary.
What do you mean unnecessary?
Why did when talking about a minor character that is killed in the first half of this book, did they have to be like, oh, BT Dubs,
This episode
Hawk actually is the Dark One?
This episode is not sponsored by the From Blood and Ash wiki because they didn't need to give me that information. But don't try this at home, kids. Don't Google things. Anyway, Hawk is Prince Castile Denier, the infamous Dark One.
Oh my God. I can't believe that.
Okay. Poppy's devastated, and he killed the Duke, and he's been pulling the strings all along.
I did not see that coming. You don't get an opinion because you knew. I didn't see that coming. Did you see that coming?
I did not see that coming.
I like that. This is actually, and I think this is where me and,
everybody else in this room,
Debbie Downer,
Debbie's Downer.
Debbie's Downer, I think didn't like it. This is where I liked the book more. I was like, oh, all right, give me a twist with some backstory. You're reeling me in. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed this part.
Okay, so here's the thing. This is not the twist that I was unhappy about. Like,
Okay,
I
fine.
liked
Same.
that he was the Dark One. I was like,
I'm fine
this
with
is
it.
interesting.
Yeah.
I hate everything that comes after this.
Well, what else comes? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, and I will say, like, knowing this earlier, they do, like, I think they do a good job of, like, she does a good job of, like, leaving breadcrumbs, but not making it super overt. So, like, I don't know if I would have predicted this had I not gotten the spoiler, but having the spoiler, I did see some hints leading up to it. So I felt, and we've been talking about, like, he moves too quickly. He, he like wants her to break the rules. So, like, there are some, you guys were picking up on some of it.
But we've got to go back to Akatar for a second. I think it was like similar where it was like, to the first one, Tamlin is a fairy, right? But then it's like, he's like the ruler of this court type of thing. Like, we all knew that Hawk, which we'll stop calling him Hawk soon, but we knew that Hawk had a power, right? So we knew he was like an Atlantean most likely, but we didn't know he was like the Atlantean.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Also, in this chapter, Poppy tries to fight, and I found the action in this sequence so confusing. I was like, where did these people come from? What's going on? She ends up in a cell, which was icky, but like, I don't know. I was so confused about, like, who was where and what was going on.
And frankly, this is sort of where I started to tune out for the rest of the book, because she's fighting, and we can call him Castile now, which is his real name.
Actually, we have to refer to him as Cassian.
Or
because they call
Cassian.
him Cass, and you can't call someone Cass without me not calling them Cassian forever now.
And you can't call someone Castile without me calling him Castiel from Supernatural, which is a show about a car.
And when we talk about lazy writing,
oh my God,
she refers to castles in this book, and then has named one of the main characters Castile, which is Dutch for castle. So that just feels unnecessarily lazy.
Lazy. Okay, we have to pick up the pace.
Okay, but
go ahead.
I was saying, so I start to tune out now because she's like trying to fight back, and then also Castile throws her in the cell, and in essence is kind of like torturing her minorly.
Yeah.
And she is still like, but I love him. And it just feels gross. Like, absolutely 110%. I'm like, you have just infantilized this protagonist, and this is straight up Stockholm Syndrome, and I am no longer interested.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair. I also at this point wrote this book could be 200 pages shorter.
Agreed.
Jennifer Armentrout needs an editor. Okay, so Castile is trying to use Poppy as a bargaining chip to free his brother, Prince Malik, who is being held by the Ascended because the Vampires.
Oh boy, that name.
The Vampires
is the worst I've ever heard in my life.
Are drinking the blood.
What are they called?
Vampire. Drinking the blood of the babies. And they need, in order to turn mortals into Ascended, they need blood from an Atlantean. And so it was originally Castile, but he was freed by his brother. And so he wants his brother back. That's what's happening.
Yeah.
And we called all of this.
Yeah.
This was predictable, I thought.
I just went. My favorite line, I think, was in the last chapter. So I got to say before we continue. When she's fighting, one of the people say the line along, basically, "Wow, she really wants to throw down." I'm like, that's not what you say in the old English.
So anachronistic. I also wrote, "What the fuck is a vampire?" And then some dissenters attempt to kill her.
Specifically, Jericho.
Yeah, sure. It's some wolf. I don't know who that is.
Jericho is the guy from the beginning of the book who she like met in the little graveyard and who killed Kim.
Oh, yeah, got it. Fine.
And then he
right.
reveals his name is
Violet.
Jericho, and he's missing a hand because I think she cut his hand off. And he's like, "Yo, we got to kill this chick."
Right. Okay, but most importantly, one of the Wolven is named Rolf. And I would like you to know that Rolf is a Muppet who is a dog. And so the Wolven is named Rolf for the Muppet, and that's what I was laughing at earlier.
Amanda has outkilled Rick.
This is my canon. Okay, so Poppy fights with some people, and Castiel is trying to save her, so she is forced to drink his blood, revealing that Atlantean blood has healing properties.
And it's tasty.
She experiences some euphoria. Homegirl's on Molly. If his blood truly has the power to heal, what else has she been lied to about? I wrote, this is literally Akatar. So she's gonna die, and the guy has to heal her by using his magical powers. At this point, many people are arching their brows. Arching the brow is the new baring of teeth.
All right, where are we at next?
She stabs him.
She stabs Castile. Oh, she stabs Castile.
But she still loves him.
Because she still loves him. And I just want to say that I actually didn't pick up. Maybe I just didn't. Maybe I was like skim reading, but like I didn't think he was hurting her when she was captive. I thought the other people were.
But he literally threw her into a dungeon and put chains on her.
He wasn't physically torturing her, but he put her in a dungeon with chains, and she was like, "I love him."
Yeah, I guess
even the Beast like had Belle in the dungeon and was like, "Oh, I can't do this." So he like he gave her a room and a wardrobe that talked, and then he fell in love with her and he gave her a library. And like people come for me about Beauty and the Beast being Stockholm syndrome. This book, next level. I'm sorry. Why does she stab him?
Yeah.
I don't understand. She's got healing properties. Is it because she's on Molly? Like what? Why does she stab him?
And he has a stone heart, so it didn't hurt him at all.
She stabs him and then she runs away, and then he chases after her and he bites her. And then they have more soup. This was the point where I gave up. I was like,
I was already done.
This book is so dumb. I don't understand. Like, this is so what? Like, okay, so he puts her in a dungeon. She tries to escape. His followers attack her. She almost dies. He saves her by forcing her to drink his blood. And then she repays him by stabbing him, running away. He comes to bite her, and then they bone. What?
The classic romance novel.
It's not. Okay, so highly charged and intimate, blurring the lines. ChatGPT is doing too much. Okay, so then they go back to New Haven, and Poppy is overwhelmed by confusion. She hates Castiel, but her feelings for him refuse to be simple. I also just want to note that like every time she talks about him in her like first person, she refers to him as he in quotes instead of using his name, which I think is the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life.
And then we end our book. Let's let Kim end this story. She loves the way this book ends.
So it is revealed that Poppy is half Atlantean. And the last page of this book, Castiel is like, I am taking you back to the homeland to marry you.
The end.
I was like,
to marry you.
I did not want
Hold
to throw my Kindle across the room because I did not want to break it, but I metaphorically wanted to throw my Kindle.
To marry you, princess.
Thank you. I'll take a full 3 points for that one.
So Rick gets a star for that. I would say I get a star for the fact that they're not going to the Capitol. That was the only thing I could predict that had nothing to do with Castile. So
I'm Rylan. I get no stars.
I also like, oh, he's from a land that's protected by magic and it's hidden from the other people. Lazy.
Yikes, you guys did not like this book.
I want to read the next one.
Me too.
So I did a lot of reading of the reviews of the next book, and everyone who gave it 4 stars or above talked about how much they loved the witty banter and how the writing was so
Yikes.
inventive.
Guys, look.
And I was like, I don't trust any of y'all.
Talking about
This
Stockholm
book does
Syndrome,
not.
I love this. I love the banter now.
I hate it. I hate it so much. I want to read the next book because number one, I hate myself. I don't know. Like why do I just like am a glutton for punishment. Number two, I just like feel like I need to know like what happens next with the vampires is so annoying. Like I think the overarching plot is interesting. I just wish someone else was writing the book. And number three, bad books make good podcasts.
It'd be a great podcast.
Fair.
And I hear that the prequels are better.
I gotta read like 3 more books to get there.
I'm just saying, that's what I heard.
We are now done with From Blood and Ash. How many stars would you give it?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna give it a solid. Wait, we've never talked about this. So what are we doing? Are we doing a 5-star rating?
5 stars, halves allowed, no quarters.
All right. I think I'm gonna give it a solid 3.5 stars. It's either 3 or 3.5 for me. I'm giving it the extra half a star because I did think the highs were pretty high. I thought the twist was pretty twisty, like a pretzel, and I didn't see it coming. So I did enjoy like the red wedding scene. I thought that was fantastic. I liked the backstory. There was like a full 2 chapters of the backstory. And like you said, like I am genuinely interested to see what happens next. The lows were very low, but for me, I think it lands at a solid 3.5.
I give this book 2.5 stars. I really like the story. I like the lore. I like the world. I hate how many things there are, but I want to know more about the things. I just really, really disliked the writing, and I don't like Poppy. And I think it's hard for me to get really into a book where I don't like the main character. It's 2.5 stars for me.
I'm going with 2.5 stars as well. I also really like the story, and I thought the first half of the book was good. I mean, the pacing is off, as we've said. Our friend Jennifer here really needs an editor. But I clearly hate her treatment of our female characters. And it's just really, really obnoxious to me.
My dad always says that James Joyce was paid by the word. I believe Jennifer Armentrout is paid by the word.
And I will say, in Jennifer's defense here, she probably wrote this in less than 2 months.
Yeah, I think she writes quick. How could she not? I have another rating system for us to use.
Oh, I'm ready.
Again, on a scale of 5, halves, no quarters, how many soups do we give this book?
I knew you were going to say so. How many bowls of soup?
Oh, I was thinking cans, but bowls
How many?
are fine.
Yeah,
It's cans.
Ladles.
It's cans. Ladles. It's cans.
ladles. This is it's cans. Cans. Okay. So how many cans of soup am I giving this? I mean, it can't be none because there was soup. I didn't like the soup, so like it's not higher than a 2. I think I'm giving it a 1.
I'm giving it a 1 as well. There were 3 soup scenes. I minorly enjoyed the first one and did not care for the other 2. It's a 1 soup for me.
I'll give it a 1.5 because, like, the soup started out right away, and so
Oh right,
Oh, I forgot.
1.5 and change it to 1.5.
That was interesting.
That was good. Okay.
And so that really, I thought the spice was coming. I thought there was going to be a lot of extra pepper here.
okay. So
So I'll give it a 1.5.
it sounds like as a podcast, we're giving this book 2.5 stars and 1.5 soups.
I'm fine with going with I said 3.5.
Do you want to give it 3?
I mean, I'm fine to meet in the middle if you want to meet with 3. I'm not opposed to giving it 2.5, and I think we should come to consensus. I
We
was
are
going to give it a
Quakers.
3. I'm fine with giving this book 2.5 stars in general.
2.5 stars, 1.5 soups.
There we go. That is our.
What are we reading next?
Oh, this is so weird because we actually recorded this episode already. The next book we will be reading is Fourth Wing, Dragons and Shit.
So so for our next podcast, which we've actually already recorded, your homework is to read chapters 1 through 10 of Fourth Wing. So Rick, that means you read through the end of chapter 10. You stop reading when you see chapter 11, which we've already done. And so for the people at this table, we are reading chapters 11 through 20, which will be 2 podcasts from now for the 5 of you who listen to this podcast.
And y'all need to catch up.
Quiet you.
I'm reading What Happened, or Did You Hear About Kitty Carr? And I really want to finish it. So that's
I
my
finally
holdup.
finished Throne of Glass. So
Incredible. I think we talk about this on the other pod.
Well, I don't talk about this. I just finished Rebel Witch yesterday, and that was fantastic.
I'm so glad we're being kicked out.
okay, bye y'all.
Bye.